Well. Good evening, folks. Welcome to Monday night and Airfix and Chill. Welcome everyone. Thanks to Jim mentioned it last week, saying that one of the folks in the chat said, talking about scale. What was it? Scales. It was manufacturer and subject in response to how do you choose a model? And obviously, we all have our allegiances. So if I decide next week I want to build, say, a Lightning, my first thought, and I'll be honest with you, would be Matchbox or Airfix. Now, you may say, why Matchbox? Because when I built the Matchbox one, it was pretty good back in the day. And but if I thought about it more, I would go, well, I know Airfix do them in both scales. I'll go and have a look at that. And that's just one example. Now, if it comes to a tank, the first thing or the first place I would look is under Tamiya, because they do a big range of tanks. And we thought we'd discuss it tonight. Do you have a favorite subject matter? And does it then matter what you would build? Or is it to do with manufacturer that, say, for instance, you probably wouldn't build, let's say, an SLS Artemis, a Saturn, but because Airfix have re-released one, or the Artemis, they've released an Artemis, you think, oh, it's Airfix. I like building Airfix. I'll have a crack at building that, even though I don't really have that thought or that allegiance to that subject. So lay out your thoughts on that one. Let's start. Go on then, James. Let's start with you first, while the wife's here with a tin of baked beans or something. I've got to open because she can't open it. Are you somebody who goes for subject, or do you go for manufacturer?
Well, I think to be honest, I used to be one of these people who used to go for 1/48 scale armor.
Yeah.
I.e. Tamiya, Hobby Boss, Airfix. Obviously, we found out about Bandai.
Bandai, yeah.
But that's a very expensive hobby to have. But then again, it tends to be 1/35 scale.
Fair enough.
The thing is, I'm building a ferret.
Yeah.
Obviously, what interested me was when Dale said on Airfix and Chill when they released a Stolly. I remember the photo of them jumping a Stolly and it had a ferret in the back.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So that interested me.
Yeah. Fair enough. But would you have built that ferret? Well, let's try it this way. So Airfix release a ferret. It's never been done before. If Tamiya released a ferret in 1/35th, would you have built it, or would you have even known about the ferret so much as, because Airfix marketed that ferret out big style?
Funnily enough, I knew about the ferret.
Yeah.
Because I used to have Action Men as a kid, and they do a ferret.
Right. Okay.
I think it's 1/6 scale. It's a massive break thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did have some fondness for the ferret.
Yeah. Over to you, Ben. Obviously, I think you're more subject than manufacturer. You kind of find the subject you want, and then you go along with the manufacturer that produced it, I guess.
Yep, that would be fair. Certainly for the ships, that's always the case because of the limited sort of variety and the availability that we have. I would say that if there is a choice, though, I do tend to become a bit brand specific. If you know, Trumpeter is generally the go-to for ships in 1-350. But for example, other brands will do other ships. So like the Type 45, for example, you have a choice between Airfix and Trumpeter. I actually prefer the Airfix one, even though there are issues with it. It's a simpler build. It's nicer. It's actually more accurate because, you know, whilst the Trumpeter one does come with photo etching and lots of lovely other things, Trumpeter is well renowned for, certainly with ships, sort of going by random photos and mashing parts of ships together. So for me, I am more subject specific, but when I do the aircraft, I again, it's whoever does the best tooling for the job I want to do. So I'm very loyal to Airfix for Harriers, for example. The Airfix Harriers are by far the best in 72nd you're going to get.
Yeah.
I will always buy an Airfix Harrier over everything else. I think Extra Kit have done a Sea Harrier too. I've only ever done the Airfix. I didn't like the Extra Kit one. And again, there's just certain subjects that Airfix does well. British subjects. If there's a British subject, I'll normally go to Airfix and then work my way back. Is my honest opinion.
Yeah, I think that is it, because it's also availability as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Is there a way though, just put it out there, knowing that Trumpeter will be close to a Type 45, would there be a way of using that photo etch from that Trumpeter on the Airfix Type 45?
Yeah, there probably would be, but the reason I'm building the Airfix one is because it doesn't have the photo etch. I actually don't want the photo etch for this. Whereas, say, Jim will no doubt always want a kit with a photo etch. I tend to try and avoid it where possible. I don't mind it for railings, but I don't want to be doing radar, antennae, all of that in photo etch. For me personally, no. So it's again subject for probably 80% of the things I do rather than a manufacturer that leads my preference.
Or another alternative is the USS Langley, isn't it? Trumpeter do a 1/350 scale, one of those.
And they do.
And you
the
need
photo
both.
etch set is horrendous. If you want to sort of pretend that you have gone to hell and you're in Dante's Inferno, I would highly recommend that kit.
Yeah. But saying that though, I mean that if the Trumpeter kit comes with photo etch, you have to generally use that photo etch because it wouldn't be there.
Yes, you do. They so especially Trumpeter at the minute, they've done the Gerald R. Ford. It used to be the case, like you say, once upon a time, you'd have a choice of the plastic or the photo etch. They are now moving to purely photo etch and certain things, to which again that massively puts me off certain stuff. I would always like to have the option. If I wanted to do photo etch for fun, I'd do the Metal Earth kits and slowly lose my mind. But
they're not bad, those Metal Earth kits. I like those Metal Earth kits.
They're really good, but for me, I've got maybe PTSD with photo etch or something. I've got some for Christmas, and as you say, they go together really well. But I'm like, no, not for me. No, they just don't click.
Yeah.
Saying there, for me, it depends on who has what. I'm not brand loyal buyer generally, but I prefer certain brand for certain subjects. It's a fair comment that. Like I said, I would not necessarily go out and buy a Ferret Scout if it was manufactured by Academy, but because Airfix released one, obviously, I went for that one and built it and then thoroughly enjoyed it, and then realized, look at what's missing in that Cold War era. Do you know what I mean? The Ferret Scout or you just have say post World War II vehicles like the Stolly, and there's plenty more to come, including those
what's it, the Saracen and whatever else it is.
Salamander,
Salamander,
Saracen, and and the other one as well. There's three in there. So but then again, now a Dingo, I'm not interested. I wasn't interested in that until Airfix's Ferret, and now I do have the Tamiya Dingo on the shelf to build in 148.
About that big.
Yeah, well, I got 148, and I'm thinking,
They do a 135th as well, don't they?
Yeah.
So now I'm tempted to go and build that. So Airfix have got me into another subject. And knowing how Tamiya goes together, I wouldn't feel aggrieved at paying £30 for a dingo from Tamiya now.
No.
Well, you, Zinzan, you're more into your planes, aren't you? So
yeah, I'm afraid I've tried to be tank guy, but it hasn't really worked out for me.
No.
I've got a 135 Jeep thing. I can't remember what it's an American Jeep thing, which I haven't finished off. I ought to really, but no, it's I'm led by I'm led by my research to some extent, you know. So for example, you know, you'll notice that recently it's been experimental aircraft, you know, like the Miles M52 and things, and that tends to lead me, and that's really very much not manufacturer led. You know, I've got a special hobby, Gloucester Pioneer at the moment, and that's going to be the fifth circle of Dante's Inferno. Thank you, Ben. That was a good phrase there, but I shall be in the fifth circle of hell with that, because there are no lining up lugs on them or anything like that. So it fits where it touches, and it doesn't touch in many places, but it's leading me by subject. I'm absolutely truthful with you, and you know, manufacturers, some are good, some are not. You know, some are great, some are brilliant, and I don't know where the next thing's going to be. I mean, I looked at a P-38 Lightning recently, and I might get one of those. I've picked up a de Havilland Dragon Rapide, which is a lovely looking little aircraft, and just doesn't matter who's got one, you know. Hands up, please. And in that way, actually, your sort of monthly updates are kind of useful like that, because you say what's new, and it's almost like a little shopping channel, because you can dip into it and say, oh yeah, I might like one of them, you know. I mean, you talked about that DBMK Sea Fury, on which the rails are rattling, but the train doesn't seem to be arriving yet. And very much, you know, want to see that one coming in, because that's that helps with the things like you could go Typhoon, Tempest, Sea Fury. As a series.
Airscal are doing a Typhoon, aren't they? So they're doing the car door one. Doing the car door version, so it does look very nice, that kit.
So yeah, subject for me, it's very much that, and I'm trying to branch out, I promise, but it's not working just yet. Sorry about that, tank people. I'm can only apologise.
No, I think you've got some fair points there. Just looking at the chat here, I think everyone seems to be in that right mind that, depending on the subject matter, whoever's doing it, the man, you know, but you're more glee if you see Airfix, Tamiya, ICM doing that subject. You're putting it's like this Hampden, like, you know, Airfix do a version, obviously, but I'm very keen on that ICM Hampden, because I think they're the only ones who do it, don't they?
They're the only ones that do it at the moment.
Yes.
Because obviously you've got a severe lack of scannable prototypes, because there's only one bit of them, and that's the fuselage.
Yeah.
One of our aircraft museums.
Yeah. Anyway, Jim, you like your subject. You don't really worry about manufacture. You're not tied, are you? If they do it, you'll buy it, innit?
Yes, to the fact that it's, you know, the question is, do you buy based on subject or manufacturer? And my answer is yes. So what and it's probably like I don't see the chat because I'm just in here. What I think I lean the way the chat is, I will buy the best kit available for the subject that I'm interested in if it's done. I'm not one of these guys that well, I want a fairy fruit bat, and you know, the only thing out there is the 1968 Matchbox kit.
Yeah.
I don't know if they even did it or not, but I won't go out and get that kit and put it in my stash, and because my mantra is life's too short for shitty kits. Now, I'm not disparaging the manufacturer. I'm just saying, you know, I need something that I can get through without a lot of heartache and consternation. Now, a lot of guys like that kind of stuff, and more power to them, you know, but I will try to find the best kit for whatever subject that I want to do that's out there. So I'm loyal to no brand. For instance, Tamiya. Yeah, I like Tamiya aircraft. I'm primarily an aircraft guy. Love their F4B. Love their F14. I could care less about the F35. Am I going to go out and buy it because they did it? No, because I don't care about the F35. So therefore, I mean, I do have one. A friend of mine gifted me one. But if there's a subject out there and it's done by a credible manufacturer, that perfect case in point, the Airfix Buccaneer, the old one. Yeah, that's kind of a cool plane. Yeah, I'd consider it. But the old Airfix Buccaneer, hell no. I ain't touching that thing with a 10-foot pole. They came out, we did a new one, and I was all about getting one. Because it was now it makes it worth my while, I guess.
That's a fresh
for the Buccaneer.
Well,
when I, as I said, I look at subject matter, and like a lot of people, I'm somebody who wants to get on with the build. You know, I'm going to be honest. If a model kit takes me more than 2 weeks to build, I get bored, and it probably ends up on the shelf. Then I've got to muster up that energy. So when there's a kit which I've got to work hard on, it basically stays in the box. You know, it's like I was going through my drawers last week, and I've got this Airfix kit. I can't remember what it is, but I started it, I don't know, about 18 months ago, and I thought I've got the box somewhere for this one. I'm trying to think what it is.
Rum and Goose, isn't it, or something?
Rum and Goose.
It's Airfix.
Yeah.
And you know, and I just haven't finished it, but I've had it in the drawer here because I started it, and I must have spent a couple of nights just getting the fuselage to fit really nice, filled it all in, and there's Widgeon, that's it, the Widgeon. Widgeon,
yeah,
Widgeon. And I've still got the box up there, but I thought, well, I'll put that model to, and I went through my drawers, and there it was in the drawer, and I thought, crumbs.
Yeah, but you see, for me, I'd actually I like a vintage kit.
Yeah,
I like stuff that's a bit of hard work. That okay, if there is a modern tooling of it, you know, and it's within, I don't know, 50% of the price of the old tooling, I'll buy it. Yeah. But like, I mean, I've got this classic one I picked up at the second-hand fair, which is just it's an old Fiat torpedo bomber from the I think it's from the 60s to kit all the 80s. Yeah, very old, whatever it is, and there's quite a bit of flash on it, and it's quite old, but it cost me £5. Yeah. So again, there is one other company that makes it a subject called Flying Machines, and it looks like a much more modern tooling, but it's only available in Italy, and I will have to pay loads of money to get a slightly nicer kit. Yeah. Whereas this looks fine, and actually, I would quite enjoy the challenge of older kits and making them look half decent and not like a toy.
That's because you're 25 and you got time on your side.
Yeah. That's exactly it. It's about time, isn't it?
Yeah. If I was 25, I might do the same thing, but I'm not. You know, I'm going to be 61 next month. And
are you saying I have time to experiment in life, including modelling? So.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. Because I was at Bovington, I picked up this beauty. The Defender from Airfix, and I also grabbed one of these as well, the Fokker Friendship. Obviously, I know damn well now I've bought them, they're going to end up in the vintage classic range at some point. So, so you know, I've spent 40 quid on this. I had 20 quid for the Friendship, 25 for that. But these will go on into my collection of Airfix.
Are they in the shrink wrap or are they in?
No, it was originally the Islander was in shrink wrap, and the friendship was just sealed on the back.
Because I've got the old TSR2 boxing, the original one, in the shrink wrap up there. So
yeah, I've got
that's under lock and key.
I've got the 148.
Build it.
I've got the 148. I've got the 148 in shrink wrap, and I've got the 1/72 scale one in the Japanese markings 1/72
the Stratos
scale
thing. Yeah. No, I've got the original boxing one, and I've also, I don't know how I managed to acquire when Extra Decal did the What If decals.
Yeah,
and I've got the Luftwaffe ones and everything, which is supposedly the rare of the two that they did. I don't even know how I've managed to get these. I just literally opened the drawer, put in some decals I bought online the other day, and just went, "Oh, got TSR2. What If?"
Yeah, Declan's just saying they're subject first, and I like older kits. I'm currently on round 2 with the Roden Heinkel 111 Pedro.
Oh,
now that is a rough kit. Yeah, Roden, they make you think, don't they?
Yeah, but if you like a Heinkel, I mean, I am partial to a Heinkel, and I did at one point. I was going to do the whole A to the what did they call the Spanish version of the Heinkel, the Casa. I was going to do all the way from the A model to the Casa, and then I bought one of the, and it might have even been the Pedro, or it might have been the civilian one. I can't remember. And then like you look at that Roden tool and you go, oh my God, I'm questioning my life decisions here. And it's like, do I love the Heinkel that much? No.
Yeah. I bought a Roden.
That's another thing.
And ran away.
Yeah. There's certain kits you've got to have a love for. Definitely. Yes. Little history. Box art shiny for me first, then subject, then brand.
Yes. As we know, Terry, because he's been struggling with a BF110. Hobby 2000 BF110.
But that's true, actually. He's got a very good point there. Though we are talking about subject or brand, what about box art of stuff that I've got no idea about the subject or no idea about the brand, but you see, and you go, oh, wow. It's like Micromere have got this. I think it's a Soviet M50 bomber. It's got a very long Russian name that's got, but the box art is like, oh, shiny thing, big thing, 4 engines. Oh, I'm buying, Didn't have any intention of buying it for the subject or the brand because Micromere is very hit and miss. But it was like, oh, the box art has sold me on that one. I'm gonna get it. So he has got a point.
Yeah.
Don't judge a book by its cover, but we do it.
But it's like this, this is. I got this at Hannon's this week. A friend of mine wanted a Russian nose, and actually, that's the point. What have I done with this Russian nose? I think it's somewhere. Well, I must give it to him. But this came up really cheap on the Hannon's website, and I thought, do you know what? I'll buy it. I was talking to Nigel about it last night because he's got exactly the same one. But just look at that box art. I saw it on the website, and I was like, that looks interesting. And then when I actually get it, it comes with photo etch. It's got the engine. You can build up the engine. And for what I paid for it, that's a hell of a lot of plastic in there. For what it is, how it goes together, I don't know. I've not found a video of this being built yet. But I just bought it because I thought the box art made it look interesting.
Here's a question. You've bought that kit based on the box art. Now, do you want to build that kit in the exact scene and try to depict the box art or something very similar? Because I've got that with the kit, the Meng Leopard. It's on a snow scene, and I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
And the AFE Club, the Striker, the Dragoon, the new one that came out, it's in a forest and all these fall colors and leaves everywhere. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that'd be cool to do.
Yeah.
Well, I tried to recreate a box art with a Tamiya's SD KFZ 251 Stuka Sufus kit because it had all the figures for the loading crew for the rockets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I tried to recreate it on a diorama and failed miserably, but hey ho.
You had fun trying, right?
Yeah. Fun trying. I swore profusely at the tracks.
Yeah.
Now panicking. Now what I've done with that bloody nose? I don't know what I've done with that nose. I bought this flanker nose, and now I can't find it. Now I'm panicking. But that's what it was. I just bought the box, and in it, and all the bits come with it, which is brilliant. Rubber band tracks, obviously, but yeah, it's 4 sprues, you know, and basically this is all built up for you. And I said, and also comes with a masking set as well for the windows. It comes, you know, you build the engine up. It's and for what I paid for it, you know, I can't quite remember exactly how much I paid for it, but I'm chuffed to bits of it. And now, even though I've never even seen one of these on any film or anything, now I've got a want to build that at some point over the winter. But yeah, box art is a big thing for me, a really big thing. So one thing not to mention is being prompted to buy kits based on books or films. I built my first Sherman after reading books about the Battle of the Bulge.
How many books and stories of history have you know gotten people motivated to do whatever you know is in that book? You know?
Absolutely. It's what I do when I research. I write something and think I could build that. You know, precisely what I do. You know, and then go around looking for something that I can make into a kit wherever it comes from. It's kind of that way. But no, it's tended to follow me across my life anyway. Let's put it like that. It's been a habit I've always had, you know.
Or same thing going to a museum or something. You walk in and you know, or if it's a military history museum and you got all this stuff, like wow, something will take your fancy. I gotta go home. I gotta go do that.
Something that gives you a sense of involvement, I think it is, you know. And I was just thinking earlier on about this whole point about putting a kit down after a couple of weeks, and there is I think a direct relationship between how far your kit is from the modeling bench and how likely you are to pick it up. So to give you an example, I've got a 1/24th scale Mustang in the wardrobe and it's not been built yet. The half-built Challenger 2 is in the cupboard at the top of the wardrobe, sort of up there somewhere. Up there somewhere.
The back of the wardrobe is Narnia. So
it indeed, or one of the nether hells, something like that. But you know, it needs to be brought nearer in order to encourage me to do it. But I haven't found the motivation to go up into that little cupboard yet and go and get it. So maybe I will at some stage. But you know, yes, there's an absolute relationship between is it down here or down there? You know, then you build.
That's why my shelf of doom is literally there. So when I swing round to spray or whatever, it's facing me and goes, right, get on with it.
Good move. Good move.
And so it's literally right. I mean, there is stuff there that's a slightly lower level I don't look at. But when I turn around and go, I'm meant to be finishing that. Oh, yeah. So it's now actually, I've renamed it. It's not the shelf of doom. It is the production bench. Because what happens is I'll build, I'll spray, I'll put there. And then when I'm ready for the next thing, I'll spin around and then I'll grab it. So I've
that's almost that's almost efficient. In fact, it is. I think probably efficient. Well done.
It's a scary form of efficiency that's come out of the need of. I mean, to be fair, there's a very sad looking Airfix Sea Fury, the 48th one, which is really nice. That's literally had the wings, the outer wings sprayed, and everything is finished, and then there's just a grey fuselage. It's not being done. So
because you're not looking forward to doing the masking.
Essentially, I've just picked it up and gone, I've got less difficult things I could do. I don't need that yet for a particular reason or for a competition. Back you go.
That's the same as putting down decals, isn't it? Really, when you look at a kit, you've got 100 decals to put down, and I look at it, I just think, I really can't be bothered with that. I just don't want to do that.
I have terrible, really. And
it's an awful thing to say, but I had to really work myself up really hard to do the SR71 decals because it had those long red lines on it, which 1/48 scale kit.
Paint them.
Go on forever, you know.
Paint them. It's a lot easier. Just paint them.
I ended up putting the decals on and they went down perfectly well. Although I know some people have complained bitterly about the decals for that Revell 1/48 kit, but mine went down absolutely fine. with perhaps one or two exceptions where I just plastered it with whatever solution I had to hand, you know, and swore at it a lot, and it was fine. So there we go.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did have to swear at the decals on a Revel MR3 Shackleton.
All right, yeah.
Because I put them down. They went down beautifully the first time, then they silvered.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All the sudden rivets. And so the X20A came out.
Ah, right. Yeah, this is why I don't like decals. That and a tendency they have to fold up into small and irretrievably annoying little lumps of stuff that you just can't do anything with. I find that irritating, but there we go. You know, that's not the subject tonight. Sorry to hijack that.
Oh, it's fine. I think it's interesting. Joffrey saying companies to avoid like the plague: Mr. Craft, Kindergarten, and Starfix. I think Mr. Craft are fantastic kits.
Yeah.
I mean, their Sea Harrier is absolutely the best in the business. It's so
definitely
accurate. It's museum quality.
Yeah, definitely. I have no doubt that Mr. Craft has a long future ahead in this model hobby.
I think bizarrely they've got the idea for that the Sea Harrier from seeing a photo of one of the ones that the Air Cadets had, which was a GR1, was painted in the Sea Harrier colours, and they painted the nose black.
Yeah, there was also the P11 or the Kestrel that was also then painted up as a Sea Harrier as well, which it sort of looks like. And then, I mean, I don't know. To be honest, it looks like that god awful Lindbergh one I can remember building. I think it probably is the Lindbergh one.
I think we've all got, you know, I think there's all sorts of manufacturers we steer clear of, but I still feel that if they do a subject that you're tempted to build and they're the only ones that do it, you may take the plunge and have a go. And you know what? There is nothing wrong with getting to a point of a kit and thinking, I'm just going to give up. I think sometimes we beat ourselves up, and in the end, we produce something that's looking bad, and not necessarily because of our own fault, but because of how bad the kit is. And sometimes, you know, it can be wise to take it away, you know, cut it from your life and just put it in the bin. But keep the decals, because there'll be always somebody who would probably.
Yeah, I think Nigel had it right.
Go
He says it. Sorry, I think Nigel has it right when he says he never works on a kit unless he's, you know, something's ticked over in his mind and he wants to. If he doesn't want to, then he won't do it. Which is, I suspect, why we need to campaign him more and more these days to finish off that 132 scale Lancaster that he's got languishing in his kit.
Yeah.
I hear some agreement here. That's good news. Nigel, if you're listening, you know what you need to do.
I think it goes with there's always humps and trumps, isn't there, when it comes to model kits? You know, and sometimes you hear somebody say, what was it the other day that somebody was building and they said it was crap? Obviously, it was an Airfix kit because they always get bashed online. And I think it was the 1/72 scale Buccaneer, and somebody was having a mare with it. Well,
I'm not having any bad words about that 72nd Buccaneer. It's that's pretty good.
It's a 2019
Buccaneer's lovely, apart from our missing C sprue, but hey ho.
Yeah. But you know, I've loads of people and people jumped on it saying, well, you know what you're talking about. But some people do have an experience with a kit that you not necessarily have, and it could be all sorts of reasons. 9 times out of 10. I still maintain that 1/72 Mozzie from Tamiya is crap. I tried my damnedest to get the rear of that engine. It's like a triangle bit at the back. I don't know what they call it now on the nacelle, but I'm trying to get that to go flush. I had it clamped and it wouldn't. And I actually got some cement, wrapped around to lift it off to see what was stopping it going down. Now, I spoke to a load of people about this. 50-50 will have that same problem I did. 50% didn't, 50% did. Was it a manufacturing problem with the plastic when it was tooled? That there might be something that's causing that to be so tight that it won't go in or it won't go flush? In the end, I sanded it down so much to try to fill it, it looked odd. It did that, at the top of it when it went down like that into that V shape. Now, there are people who say I built that kit, and there's only one other person who said I built it first and I couldn't, and I had the same problem as you did, Moz. But the second time with another kit, I got it and it went down absolutely fine. You know what I mean? And I think that happens sometimes. There could be idiosyncrasies in the plastic that causes you to have an issue.
It's inconsistencies, isn't it? Because remember, quite clearly, I built Tamiya's 148 scale Panther D. Now I've got a Jag Panther. Now ideally they're both the same die-cast chassis, but I had a lot of trouble fitting the transmission covers on the D and the Jag Panther. They went easy.
I think this is the vagaries of plastic. Sometimes it comes out the mold and just decides it's not going to behave.
Well, I think it shrunk. I got a feeling there's certain people, and I don't know if anybody else had the same problem as I did with that 172nd Mozzie from Tamiya. I think it kind of shrunk. So when you went to push it in, the top of the wing in top, and to get him into the back of the engine, the back of the nacelle, it just would not sit right. But then when I asked these people about it, because I see them at model shows and I see you've done the 148, did you do the 172nd? Oh yeah, I had a nightmare with those wings, couldn't get them to go straight, or couldn't get. I wonder if there was a time when they were just shrinking a little bit and you couldn't get them in.
I've got this 148 Lightning here, the Airfix Lightning, and you can particularly see this with long bodies like this. And if I hold either end here, and get them located, you can see this gap in the middle. That's going to probably need to be clamped to get it glued shut. Now, you'd never notice that off the sprue. It's just the way that the plastics come out the sprue, and it's slightly bent. It just what happens, and there's no odds in it. You just can't change it. It's just one of those things, and you get it on tiny kits, you get it on big kits. It just means that you have to swear a bit to get them together, and they fit again. They fit in not many places because the main anchor points will be at the front here, and then at the back where the jet pipes go in. I'm going to use the upgrades, the enhancements, the whatever it's called, resin enhancements.
Resin kit.
And you have to fit in a panel here that
bulkhead
as a bulkhead here. If you use the kit parts, I'm going to have to put that in to give it some extra strength, just like I did with the TSR2. I put a piece of sprue in just either side of the wide part of the. It's just the vagaries of plastic, and I think one of the delegates tonight said, he likes kits that don't quite go together properly because it tests your skills. One of the series of little challenges that you get to finish something off.
If I could recommend anyone a tool that I've been buying a lot of when I go to a model show, if I see Brooks models, I've been buying these little clamps because I think you can you push them in. Don't be a daft sod and just crank it hard, but it just gives that leveling bit of pressure on a fuselage or something. I think and I've been you pick them up. I think it's like 3 for $5 or something. But I've been buying these a lot. I've got about 10 now because I used one and that was it. I was hooked, and especially when one thing I do like is that if you're doing like Revell and they do those wheels, and you've got your two halves together, and you've got the bit in the middle. Just whacking this on, it makes it go flush. You know, whacking a load of cement and hope for the best. And these tend to like, when I was trying to push the vinyl rubbers on a wheel, I've used this method before. Vinyl in, squeeze it tight, leave it alone, and it works.
Third hand, isn't it?
Keeps it straight. Yeah. I've got big ones as well, mind. You know, I haven't gone. You know, I've really gone.
Well, they're all on a ratchet, so effectively you can spring them up, and then if you need to, there's a little button on the top, and then it just pops down.
Well, I've got the nuclear option. It's called mole grips.
Mole grips, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like. This is just me. Metal on plastic. Yeah, it's plastic on plastic, or some sort of rubber on plastic for me.
Yeah, look, Mortar J has a good touch. He has a gentle touch, so he should be able to use mole grips. But no.
Yeah. Or a sodding blade.
Yeah, you know, as I said, it's another question. Okay, there's two kits. One comes with everything extra. So I'm just trying to think of an example. Edard. If there's a kit, I'm just trying to think of a kit that Edard have reboxed and added everything to. Think of a kit that they've done it to.
Mustang or
the Mustang.
Tempest.
Would you buy? You know, would you buy the Tempest as a weekender, or are you somebody who will buy the? I think they call it the
high tech
or
the Royal.
High-tech, yeah.
Yeah, it's a special.
Are you somebody that would seek out a brand that would do two variants, one with just pure plastic, nice and simple, decal sheet, bang bang, way to go, or are you more inclined to buy it with all the added extras? I'm going to go with Jim on that one.
So I think Edwards is a good example because they do this in their whole line. They have the Royal Class Dual combo kit that's got two kits in it and everything, and markings for 10 planes, and then they've got their Profi pack where you get masks and photo etchings and some of their resin bits, and then you get their white boxes, which is just the sprue trees and nothing else. No, there's no instructions, nothing. So I usually buy the Profi pack because I do like the extra odds and ends. Not so much for the markings because I never hardly ever do markings that come in a kit. I always go aftermarket because I got to be different. But with that said, when Edward came out with their P51B, I'm not a big B fan, but there was one B that I wanted to do, the Blue Nose Princess Elizabeth. I wanted to do that one, and I already had the marking, so I thought, well, I'll just get the kit.
Yeah.
So I get the kit, the white box kit with nothing extra in it. We'll go to find out, a couple little doodads. The only part that is made for it was something in the landing gear bay, and I can't remember what it was, but there is no part in the kit for that. You had to use the photo etch, so you had to have the Profi pack kit. So now my kit doesn't have that. Minor inconvenience. Nobody's going to know sitting on my shelf or whatever. But so I've been down both routes, and it depends on what the builder wants at the end of the day. If they don't care about all of that, then that's fine. I'm a self-admitted aftermarket whore. I love all the aftermarket stuff. Resin, oh my gosh, they're getting half my retirement. But every month they come out with their list of 187 things. Of course, it's in all three scales, but it's just like, oh my gosh, I gotta get that, I gotta get that, I gotta get that.
Yeah.
You know, I love that stuff. So I kind of lean towards not the Royal Class, not the white box, but in the middle, if it has some such things.
The Profi pack, as they call it.
Yeah, the Profi.
I got tempted by this on eBay last week. The Airfix High Tech series comes with white metal undercarriage. And,
be careful.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Pewter parts. Basically, that's the picture of it there. So you've got the prop and the blades, the nose, and you've got the undercarriage wheels and some undercarriage there. Comes in a lovely little box, high-tech concept, and it does come with photo etch as well. A little bit of photo etch just to, you know, yeah.
Is it probably seat belts?
It comes with the seat belts.
Photo etch.
It comes with the floor pedals, the display, the column, you know. So,
and it comes with brakes for the wings.
Yeah. And then there's your little bag of pewter. So that means that you don't have to put any weight in the nose. You know what I mean? Well, you wouldn't anyway on a Spitfire, I guess. But yeah,
So
but the seat.
The cool thing. Sorry, Maz, but real quick, though, that white metal. I mean, you can polish the oleo struts and make them just gleam like the chrome, and then you can mask them, and then and paint the rest of them and install them, and it looks great. And then 5 years from now, you're gonna go.
Yeah.
The weight over time on that attachment point where the white metal strut goes into the wheel, that little axle is not going to be able to support the weight of the kit over time, and it's going to droop.
Yeah. I understood that. It was just, I think with the photo etch, it just really, you know, I personally, because it does come with the plastic undercarriage, obviously.
Oh, okay, they're perfect.
And I think you can fit the wheels to the under, you know, to that, and but not use the legs. But I think it was all the detail that they've whacked in just on the seat, and I think that is where that makes it more Edard, you know. So it is interesting how they've done it, you know. So you build up the seat of the pilot, everything goes in. You've got all your levers and stuff, which is on photo etch as well. Nice little touches, you know. And then you've got, but basically you've got two sets of wheels on this one. It does the United States Army Air Force one and the UK RAF, obviously, or the, you know, the RAF. So you got your two, you know. So it's giving you options here, different canopy. You know, you see that just that little bit of difference between the two. So, but yeah, it's lovely looking kit. Yeah. Very, you know, as I said, it will take a little bit of looking, you know, a little bit of play. You know, it's come with the photo etch for the air intakes. You know, telling you clearly how to do it. So this is, you know, this is basically an Edard kit before Edard were around. I think. I don't think Edard did this back in the day, like, you know. I think the year was 1996, if I believe. So it was like 30 years ago. And they tried something out, and you know, and fair play to them. I love the nose on it. I think the nose looks lovely. But then you would paint that anyway, wouldn't you? But I don't know how you would paint that in enamels, or would acrylic be all right with pewter? I don't know if there'll be a reaction at all. So
I've used just Mr. Hobby primer, you know, this stuff on it, and then you put whatever paint you like on top of that. That seems to work quite well.
Yeah.
The casting lines are difficult to deal with, though.
Yeah.
You know, you really have to be. You
need a set of very fine jeweler's files.
Yeah. I've got these little Tamiya metal files. I mean, this one is, I think it's smooth, but you really need one that's dead smooth, which is, you know, almost like a bit of paper, quite honestly. But if it's dead smooth, you'll get a nice shine on it. And you know, but you have to attend to them really carefully, otherwise they look bloody awful.
Yeah.
Sorry, what did you send me, Nick? Mystery box, Nick? What was it you sent me? Was that there? I bought that off eBay. So unless I bought it off you via eBay, let me know. Because I said I bought that this week. So if I buy it off you on eBay, because I don't think I've been sent one of them high-tech boxes. But yeah, that's that came today. Yesterday. Oh no, it was today actually. It came. So, but yeah. There you are. I use cheap Riffler files. Yeah, I buy cheap files. Oh, on eBay, I bought it off you, did I? Oh, fair play.
Yeah.
There you go. I wish you'd known. I would have bypassed. I would have give you the proper money in cash, and then you wouldn't have got that 20% off the. But yeah, I just wonder if Airfix did that years ago. Was it such a failure that they never done it again? But a lovely, they said just by looking at the photo etch for that seat, it really does make it pop, doesn't it? Those little bits of extras.
You've got to think they probably missed a trick, don't you reckon?
But did it? It depends if it sold well enough. This is the issue with that. They've.
Here's the thing, isn't it? It's the old commercial imperative again.
Brought kits out to sort of like compete with the pro modeler kits that Monogram/Rebel did.
Yeah, we need a model historian here, because what was about at the time and how much of the market did they have? How popular were they? And I don't know, but if you look at it through, if you like, today's lens, and how people look at these things today, you'd think, God, blimey, they've missed a trick there. But it may not have been that way back then. It may be that 99% of the market was still dead set on plastic, and they just wanted plastic, and that was that. And that was, and people scratch built stuff out of bits of plastic card and such like, which they perhaps, I don't know, don't do so much these days.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Nick, anyway, for letting me buy that off you. Hasegawa did that with some of their 1/32 scale aircraft kits. I think Trumpeter does as well, doesn't it? They chuck in the odd bit of photo etch occasionally.
I'll just interject. Hasegawa did it with a lot of their 1/48 scale kits as well.
Right.
They did it with the Tomcat, the Phantom, the FGR2.
Yeah, they did that.
Is it really?
Not with their F-16. I will say that.
Is it really a draw then? The kit comes with photo etch. Is it really such a pull?
No,
because for me personally,
depends on the manufacturer.
Yeah. For me personally, if it came with masking set, that's the holy grail for me.
Yeah.
So in all seriousness, a masking set is the holy grail for me.
I've just purchased all them from Hannon's for all individual kits. So,
how much do you pay for them each?
I have friends everywhere, so I have got it slightly cheaper.
Yeah,
but it's still the best part of £100.
Yeah,
masks.
Knows the guy.
Because it is expensive. But like you said, Moz, if kits came, get rid of the photo etch. I'll buy that separately if I want it, because it's quite expensive. That's relatively cheap to produce. Put it with all your kits. Absolutely, I'd buy them every day of the week.
Yeah, I think that's where I think that would be the ultimate game changer. And I think that a lot, and a lot of kits are now coming with it, with the old photo, would you be willing for a kit to go up £5 in price if it had the masking set in it? Because you've got, I know people say it'll only cost you a couple of quid to do it. I don't think that's actually a good assessment. I really don't believe that's a good assessment. You've got to, like, for instance, if like a company called Edar, they do it in-house and they chuck them in the kit, I think that's fair. But when you've got other manufacturers who have to look and outsource that production, I think a £5 on top of a kit isn't an unreasonable cost to a kit. But you will look online and you will see the anger that most kits now in 1/72 scale is touching the £25 mark, and even more disgust and disgruntlement that a 1/48 can now cost you between £40 and £60
or £70 pounds.
And I think that with, and I'm going to name the top three: Revell, Airfix, and Italeri. I think that's their fear, that extra $5 would really push somebody making a choice of buying that kit or not.
The only thing I will say,
and then Jim follows you, Ben, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm going to say, so like the 70 pounders, they tend, a lot of people give the example of like the Airfix Buccaneer. Like
Yeah.
I think it's 72.49 or whatever.
Mm.
Not being funny, the value for money you get out of a kit of that size compared to other hobbies and things you can do is very, very strong.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got computers, this, that, etc. But if you think about all the investment you'd have to get to just a computer to start from scratch, whereas the kit, 80 quid, you probably throw another, I don't know, 40 quid's worth of tools and paint at it if you were starting from complete scratch. For 100, just over 110 £110, you've got something that's going to give you hobby time for probably 6 weeks or so, if not more.
Yeah.
That's a good amount of value there.
Yeah.
And an extra £5 for something that everyone's going to use. It's not like photo etch or a cockpit set where people choose not to. A mask is a mask. You're going to use it unless you're not going to paint the thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's universally, So yeah,
Jim.
So what some manufacturers, I don't remember who offhand, but a way to cut costs to not make it go up in price probably at all. They include a template to cut your own masks in the instructions. They'll have the whole
I'm a hobby do that.
Okay. So you take your tape, you put it down, you cut it, boom. There's no cost to do that. Because you're going to make it. So my thing, and I've been saying this for years, and I'm probably still in the minority because a lot of guys do decals. Okay. I would be all over a company like say Edward or whoever. They didn't give you a decal sheet. They gave you a fully mask sheet to do all your markings and paint. There's no decal film or issues about getting decals to go down or all the woes that you have to deal with decals if you paint them all on. You know, and I think that would be, I would love that. I'd be all over that. And I know there's a company over in the UK, and I can't think of the name offhand. And I've got some of their masks, and that's all they do is they cut masks for primarily World War II aircraft.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There are a number of companies that will allow.
There's 2 companies that I know of. So CT Scale Masks, and another one which is
there's One Man Army as well.
One Man Army,
and their masks really are very, very good.
I think just quickly jumping in, somebody just put in the comment, which I thought was really interesting. Masking set for planes, photo etch for tanks. Fair enough. Yeah, that's a good thing. Okay. I think people also underestimate how expensive cartograph decals are.
Yeah.
And I think Airfix went down that route for that. Now, obviously, I've said that I think there's a lot of thought that they could make a decal sheet, have a masking set printed on it, and it would work. We've done tests. Well, very, very, what can I say? Very, very rustic tests on where we had Sully and Alex at Man's Models. They had a decal sheet with a big decal on it, and they cut around the decal and they stuck that to the glass, sprayed it up, and then they were able to peel off that decal off. And then I wonder if there was a way of creating a masking set within the decal sheet, and then it's an idea I came across, and we did test it between ourselves, so it does work.
Well, it's the computer technology is there. The guys are drawing files and printing parts. Well, the other side of that is guys can draw and cut masks now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the correlation there. So will decal printing become a thing of the past? I doubt it. because it's in a way it's still easy to throw it in the water, slap it on the model, and call it good.
Yeah.
I like the ability. I went out and bought a silhouette and tried to trace some markings, and it took me like 4 hours to trace an eagle head, to put on an Israeli F-15 to do that big eagle that's on the head. When then with the push of a button, I got the mirror image of it.
Yeah.
And I sent it to the cutter, and I couldn't believe it took me, like I said, 4 or 5 hours to do all this, but I couldn't believe it worked, and then I put them on, and I sprayed it. Now it takes some thought. Yeah, the process of, what color's going down first and what's going to get painted and then masked and then, do all that. And it's more maybe time. It's definitely more time consuming in the fact that you just can't throw it down, but you don't have to worry about the decal disaster of the decal film, or you get something underneath it, or invariably somebody's going to zoom in on that picture and you're going to see a little schmutz or whatever underneath the decal, and it doesn't, because these in real life, then that's what we're trying to do, is make things that look like real life. Well, in real life, you didn't take now in some cases in a modern aircraft, they put a decal on the side of the plane on a jet line or whatever. But back in World War II, they weren't putting down decals. They were spraying this stuff on, and they were using masks.
They were using the old proper the people that used to do the trains used to do the line and the mark and the painting on the images.
That was all freehand. But it's going to be hard to make a nose art mask. I get that. Some maybe, but just basic markings and codes and things like that. I see those coming before anything else. Are you going to get a full bullseye or fur ball or $20 or $25 decal sheet and get all that in masks? Yeah, probably not. But we do, or there's masks out there for the Splinter aircraft and the digital aircraft, because
Sully's done it this week, hasn't he?
I didn't see that.
Sully's done a plane this week, and it's all done with stencils, apart from one decal they had to put on because it was the motif.
He's doing a Hurricane, isn't he? So
No,
he's all done with. I like it. See, I think the holy grail when it comes to decal sheets is what Edard are trying to do, and I'm going to say it, not successfully, because everybody I know, including he's called now, not LPJ Models, the other chap, he needs to come on here. I can't know what he's called now. He's done a video on how to remove that the
carrier film.
Yeah, who was it? Sorry,
Modeling Weekly.
Yeah, but what's his name again? I can't think of his. He did a video on it saying I think he either used like some sort of lighter fluid or something to get rid of them. But I think if I'm right, there was still that little nick that came off. The paint came off with the graphic came off with the transfer. The holy grail would be that, and if any company could do it, I'm pretty sure it'd be Cartograph. But they've never ever released. I don't think, in my knowledge, and I've looked it up, they've never attempted to release a decal sheet where you can remove the carrier film.
No.
So that is the holy grail when it comes to, if you can do that, remove that carrier film, you just imagine, it's like, when you're doing like the warning square, which is all like dotted line all the way around with a cross in the middle. I can't know what it's called now, and you've got the big thick carrier film around. Well, not thick from Cartograph, but a decent matte satin finish, and you've got to blow that in 2 or 3 times to blend it in with some sort of matte coat or maybe a satin coat, then go to matte. If they can remove that's the holy grail for me. But I don't see any company being so, and Edard will continually put out that decal to the bemoanment of people who build Edard kits. Well, and as I said, I've not seen anybody being 100% successful.
So the one-man army. Sorry to cut through there, Mark. It's very rude of me. I do apologise.
Go do it again.
I won't.
I'll put you in the basement, Zinzan, with the
I'll get put in YouTube prison by Lord James there, and it won't be good. It's cold and dark in there. Don't want to go there again. But no, the one-man army kits in 132 scale are exceptionally detailed on this. So, for example, the balance markers on the Spitfire, the D and the T markers, all those sort of things, you can spray them all on. The Zeus fastener markings, which are impossibly tiny, and even in 132 scale, you can blow them down as well with just an off-white paint or whatever's available to you, and you can get all that detail. They've even got one that they did in 3 layers for a 3-colored round marking that you would normally think, I'll decal that, but it is as you say, the holy grail. And for me anyway, and I use the cry cut to do this, or whatever it is you want to call it. The benefit of painted markings is they have no depth to speak of, and they meld their way into the panel lines and the external details absolutely perfectly, so that there's never any chance of a decal not quite going down, and then you start to accent that panel line, and then you can't accent it where that decal has not quite gone down. So you move yourself from a position of guessing that the decal might work. You'll be right nearly all the time. But you go from the position of guessing to the position of knowing, and it looks much more convincing for my liking. And it takes a little time to get used to using the machinery, or to use. In particular, it takes time to get used to using the one-man army masks, because they're kabuki paper. It's very bloody sticky. You've got to get it right first time, because otherwise you end up stretching the mask. So you really, really do have to be careful. But once you've got used to it, and again, I'm plugging Nigel all the bloody time here. He'll probably thank me for that.
He'll be on later. He can thank you then.
Yeah, he does a video where he talks about weeding these things out to put them down properly, and it is very good. As long as you can do the simple procedures really well, you get a result that's outstanding. I wish I'd done painted markings on the TSR2, but I was a noob at that stage. So it's decals, I'm afraid. So there we are. It's worth trying, and the realism that it adds is great.
Yeah, it's definitely one of them. I just lost my point. Can anyone explain why Revell only did one engine on their 148 Mosquito? No idea, mate. You'll have to speak to Revell. There's been a lot of companies who've done that in the past. You put an engine in and let you get on with the rest of it. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. Going back to decals. I think and I'm going to say this as not as a fanboy, so to speak, but my love for cartograph decals was I have never done invasion stripes with a decal ever. I've always sprayed them in. But that Tempest that came out by Airfix first time round, I thought, right, here we go. Jonathan Mock has done the decals on this Tempest. I'm going to put these huge decals of invasion stripes on that Tempest. And you can go and watch my video, and you can enjoy, like I did, the satisfaction of a decal like that going down even over all the lumps and bumps on that wing. And if you look carefully, you can even see the panel lines underneath. They just went down. And I don't think I used microsol. I think it was just microset. That was enough. It went down, and I thought, these look fucking terrible. And I woke up the next morning, and they were done. They slid into position. The bumps were all there. Never look. And I said, I've never done I've never done invasion stripes without either painting them on or spraying them on. That was the first, and that gave me the confidence then of cartograph.
You've never done the
they are good.
Have you, Moz?
What's that? Sorry,
you've never done the KT.
the KT, the ambulance.
Yeah, because those decals are seriously thin. They are Academy decals.
Yeah.
So I was basically advised by Gary not to put any microset or any microsole anywhere near them. Just let them settle down. And they went down like they were so thin, no carrier film, no nothing. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. And I believe that the Tamiya red matches perfectly with the red on those decals.
Yes, it does.
The Airfix one is way out, but the Tamiya red, I think Jonathan Mock put it up on his thing when he did his.
XF7. I actually used XF7.
Is that the one? The red XF7, yeah. It's a perfect match to those cartograph decals. You can't make it up sometimes. I wonder where Nigel is. Are you in the background, Nigel? You're going to pop in tonight? That'd be good if you did, because I like to hear your thoughts on decals.
He's probably swearing it at something on his Fiat.
Yeah.
If you are going to do decals, absolutely. By far, Cartograph is, I think, the industry leader by far.
Yeah. And Revell are now changing over. So, which I think of there's three companies in there at the moment that use Cartograph. Italeri, Airfix, and I believe Revell are now going to be all Cartograph.
Some of Tamiya's bike kits back in the day,
Cartograph as well.
Were they?
Yeah.
I think that was one of, as I said in my video, I think that was one of the biggest switches that Airfix have done to the, and it at the time, you can go back to 2011, 2012, go on Brit Modeler and look back to the Cartograph, the switch of 2011, 2012, and the praise that was done. And then you go a bit further on, and after a year of enjoying the Cartograph decals, people are then swallowing a little bit on the price increase because they were using. And I remember clearly to this day, and we were all sat there in that room for that creator day. Me, Model Minutes, Gary Stuff, what's he called? Scale Hanger 182, the Scale Model Nerd, I think he was called, or something like that. We all sat there, and Dale said that the decal sheet sometimes costs more than the plastic in the box. And when people have mentioned about the price of those bigger kits like the Rotterdam, etc., the plastic isn't brilliant, but that decal sheet probably costs more than the plastic in the box. Incredible. Who else used it? Qatari used Cartograph, do they? Did Wingnut Wings didn't know, did they?
Yes, they did.
They did they?
But they advised not to use any microsole on it.
Right.
That Academy 810 I did a year or two ago, it had Cartograph. It was a brand new kit. That was last spring.
Well, I'm surprised about that because Academy do their own in-house decals, because that's why.
I don't know.
That's why the Airfix, KT, and the lorry, which were designed to the T of Airfix, and the tooling and the manufacture was done by Academy, they don't have Cartograph on the side of their box because they're in-house decals. Hence, you get the photo etch as well, because Academy can make their own photo etch. But yeah, it's interesting.
But yeah, no, I to be honest, I'd heard an awful lot of horror stories about people having with Academy kits and the deck was breaking up.
Yeah.
But then I realised why, because they're very thin.
Very thin.
And
I had a couple.
You have to be patient with it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I've got a couple of Academy kits, but I'm not planning to use their decals. I'll probably change over to something else. I mean, certainly the Tomcat I've got, which is a new tooling, that's going to be put into a Royal Navy scheme. So I'm not going to use whatever American decals are in that. So
yeah. Decal longevity depends on storage method. Yeah and yay and nay. There's talk about that. I'm not convinced by that. If you have an old Frog kit, just hit and miss on the decals. If you've got the Nova kit, just won't chuck them away. They'll never work. They go to powder.
Look at old Gremlins. Gary. He's put ancient decals on some of his plates, and they worked.
They've worked, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I've got I did a Frog Sea Venom, original boxing of it like this Buccaneer. The Frog decals, absolutely brilliant. Every single one worked. No yellowing, they look great. Sadly, in this kit, even though the Airfix decal, the originals were mint, tried to put them on, as soon as you put them in water, they just fizzled away and broke up. And that was the end of that. So I had to then go and get aftermarket ones to do the early Buccaneer, but it wasn't the end of the world. But yeah, for some reason, the original Frog ones, don't know what they did, but they seem to be bulletproof because they also had a little bit of the MIG, what I call white wine vinegar, the decal set and that on them. So
yeah,
they were absolutely fine. But yeah, the Airfix stuff just completely evaporated, disappeared.
I'll be right back, guys. Sorry.
The Evasion stripe in the Academy Typhoon is superb and pre-trimmed. Well, that's like the Tempest was for me. But yeah, Academy, a lot of cartograph. Helldiver F-14s are all cartograph as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just looking through the comments here. Frogs Matchbox decals stand the test of time. Yeah, I know the Matchbox ones does. Airfix released the Chinook with a white camo with all these brown streaky markings all over. Are they decals or you got to paint them all on? Yep, you've got to paint them all on, mate. Then they don't come as a decal. I wish they did, because that's a hell of a scheme. That I know the one you mean, the one they just released.
Isn't that a desert scheme?
Pardon? Yeah, the desert scheme.
Yeah,
that's
not a white camo.
Scheme. It's a hell of a scheme, that.
Well, if you're going to do it, where is it? The old pens, may I suggest, if you're going to...
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Because that will make your life so much easier, because where I've done a couple of the Italian aircraft where they have their very exciting Italian Art Deco style camouflage, those pens are absolutely brilliant for that.
Yeah.
So I seem to remember that the big 1/32 scale, they did that Italian do with the oh god, what is it? It's one of the Italian fighter planes. The smoke rings are by Cartograph.
Oh yeah,
and they do them as decals.
Sorry.
I mean, decals are fine for that sort of thing, but I actually prefer the freehand of the pen. I just think it's a little bit nicer, and ironically, the decals are a bit too sharp. Because when I've gone to the Italian Air Force Museum and looked at all the color schemes, they really are rough. Even in the museum where they've painted them in a more relaxed and they're a bit more well kept.
Yeah,
but they are. You can tell they're hand painted on the real thing. They're certainly not airbrushed in any form.
Yeah. I believe Cartograph have two different tiers for their quality and price. No, that's not true.
No,
they've always been expensive, and I don't think they would have a different tier for quality, because they claim to produce the world's best decals. So I think you'd be misled there, Julian.
Well, that's their USP, isn't it? The unique selling point is
we are the best in business.
Yeah,
you pay this price, you'll get this. There's none of this. We'll do a 50% cheaper one. I think at the end of the day, it's like with most things. When it comes to decal sheets, I always think there's far too much. When Airfix release a kit and it's got 5 different schemes on it, I kind of think, now are you doing that because you've got this, because I know that decal sheets all come with different sizes and what you can put on that decal sheet. So maybe we've got to get this one, it's going to be this size, we've got enough room here, we could put another scheme in. But sometimes I just think, does a scheme of a kit ever lay it on for you to buy a kit? Because to be honest with you, when I did a lightning once, and there's one just out, there's a lightning as a gate guard in Peterhead, I think it's called Spark, and this lightning was the one that was in a race with the MiG, with the MiG and the F-14, I think it was, and they had to go and and beat Concorde, and the lightning won. And that lightning with the blue stripe, and you've got like the lion in the roundel on the tail, that's in Spark. I don't think I've ever seen anybody release a lightning and the manufacturer with that particular scheme. But I knew that Micro Scale did it, so I bought that. So I've never bought a kit because of a particular scheme, but I will buy a kit. I will buy a decal sheet that will have the scheme that fits for me.
And that's what I was just going to say. The Lightning's a great example. Just popped in to my head when you mentioned it. Would I normally build a Lightning? Yeah, probably not. But the thing that sold the Lightning for me was it was at Leckers, but anyway, had the black tail with the had the lightning
Lucas, RF Lucas, that one,
and the national insignia, and then the squadron had the cross scimitars. I'm like, okay, I'll do that one. You know, had that squadron not existed with those markings, then I probably wouldn't even have a Lightning.
Yeah.
So back to subject or kit or manufacturer.
Yeah. If you watch my video, you'll see that it does come with quite a comprehensive decal scheme for that rocket, for the Artemis. Richard's saying, special scheme, special camo and boxings with the history. Yeah, there you go. Nigel's got it on the screen there. Let's go solo. So it's quite a robust decal sheet, that, it's and for
it's just for the SLS.
It's for the SLS Artemis, yeah.
The only thing I read, World Magazine did their build obviously before everyone else got theirs, and what they said, if you, I doubt you're going to see it here, but this NASA decal across here, you would think that would have like a rectangular piece of carrier film.
Yeah.
And the N and the A are connected by a tiny little bit there, and the S and the A are connected by a tiny little bit there. And what they said was it was really difficult to put it. So what they did, put this out there, they cut the A off the N, and they cut the A off the S there, and then put it on as 4 separate decals, and it was much easier. Bear that one in mind, guys. This one here, this little NASA down here, has got the like rectangular carrier film, so that one's fine. But those there, apparently, they're really fiddly.
Well, like I said, when I did my review of the decals, Clint is the decal designer. If you actually look at like I said, the A and the S, it has got like a bit of an overlap because it does go round, well, doesn't it? So it should level itself out when you lay it down. But it's
you can imagine. I can imagine what you were talking about when you slide that off the paper.
Yeah.
Have the A and the S in the middle, and the N and the A on the end are going to be like
and
pissing around in the wind.
It's one of those you can't win, because if they made a great big piece of carrier film, everybody would say it's got too much carrier film. Carrier film, it needs more carrier film.
That's it. It's a difficult one. Anyway, Nigel, how are you, mate?
Knackered. I've been out in the garage all evening.
Oh wow.
Fair enough.
I don't even know what the subject is tonight. What is the subject?
Oh, we're talking about kits, whether you buy manufacturer or you buy by subject, and if it's a subject that a couple of manufacturers do, would you err on the side of caution and go with a favoured one, or would you risk it for a biscuit and go for one that
wasn't, so we have mentioned you a few times already tonight, Nigel. What was it,
Well, we nearly got desperate and put a pentagram, draw a pentagram to summon you, but hey ho.
Can you tell me, have you been derogatory towards me? Have you been?
Oh, definitely.
Shit.
No, we were talking about One Man Army and that you praise them, you love them, don't you?
They are very, very good for what they are. Okay, and I think Zinzan will agree with me on this because he's used them. I've never used them on a finished model because I don't fucking finish anything. But I have used them in demonstration videos, and they are quite difficult to use. But having said that, they are, for what they are amazing.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the latest Ferrari is an amazing supercar, but it's useless for taking the kids to school.
Yeah. That's a good expression. Yeah, I don't suppose you would take the kids in your Ferrari, would you?
I mean, they'd muck it up.
Strap them to the roof.
That's the other thing. It's like with those NASA decals, they've got that sort of out of kilter because they go over the. Now, if One Man Army made the masks, they probably wouldn't have that step in them, and then you'd have to try and. It's like on the A20, on the Hong Kong models 132nd A20, when you put the serial letters on the fuselage, the mask has to go over the back of the wing root on the trailing edge of the wing. So you have to cut the mask and reshape it and everything. That's not been taken into consideration in the design of the mask.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Fair enough. That's very interesting, David. I have now taken to collecting die-cast 1/72nd scale aircraft, mainly ones which are in camouflage or aircraft that have been produced in another scale, as I cannot make any other scale than 1/72nd. Oh, that's interesting. There's no place for those dust collections, dust collectors.
Yeah.
There's a Kiwi scheme in the box. I'm likely to purchase it. Just got the Airfix bow and welly for New Zealand ace. Yeah, I've noticed that from Airfix is that they do go outside. They do tend to do it. Like, when they released that Mark 8 Spitfire in 1/24th, they went for an Aussie scheme, didn't they? And, and they went absolutely mental for that grey nest, didn't they?
They're going for like the Commonwealth schemes a lot of the time, or sort of unheard of British schemes. So, like for example, I think it's one of the Bowfighter boxings.
Yeah.
They've done a couple of odd ones, including like RF Davidstow in Cornwall, which is famous for not really much, except that it did also at some point hold in the post-war period an F2 F1 races. But like now it's an abandoned thing, and the most famous thing next to it is the Cornish at War Museum, and then I think the factory for Cathedral City. Jeez.
Yeah.
But like my mother lives next to it, and it's like I want that boxing for that very particular reason.
Yeah.
My mum lives near that airfield, and Airfix make it. And I looked it up the other day, and I can't get the decals for Davidstow on Cannon through extra decals or anything. It's only that boxing that I can get it.
Yeah.
So that would be another reason for me to buy it. Would be again a bit of a subject, and a bit that the fact that Airfix does the best model of that type, and I'll be brand loyal in that case.
Well, it's like this Wessex, isn't it? They've just released.
They've done the wrong one first. They've done the wrong one first.
Wrong scale.
No, scale's fine. Should be the Navy one first. Senior service.
Well,
all the manufacturers do the ones that nobody wants first.
Yeah, that's right.
Buy it because you want the kit, and then you buy the other one because you want that variant.
Yes. All those sea and rescues is going to be bought when they release that in the Sea King. Do you know what I mean? That yellow scheme, that's just going to. That's when they, a couple of years' time when they're thinking, you know what? I think it's time to lay on that yellow. Make sure you got enough Humbrol yellow in the old tank, and away you go. We're going to release.
I will laugh.
Humbrol yellow. Get the Outlaw Paints yellow. That's much better.
Yeah.
If I get hold of it still,
Much
yeah.
better paint. Have you got much
I
left?
mean,
About 5 bottles, I think. But I'm looking into it. It's in hand.
Outlaw Paints yellow is the best yellow paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt from Scale Model World magazine, Airfix Model World magazine, has done a review and said that yellow is amazing. So
So have I.
yeah.
I remember you guys have demoed it. Nigel demoed it, and the fellow in Australia demoed it, and it was just right.
It looks like it sprays really well, but that yellow Sea King, I'm gonna laugh if Airfix troll us, and let's say they stretch it to a 4th release and they put some other random Sea King scheme in between that, and then they don't release it for another couple of years. I would find that hilariously funny.
I did.
It's just some really naff middle scheme that they've gone with. They're like, oh, that yellow one, you still got to wait another couple of years for that, I'm afraid.
Well, put it this way, probably Airfix are waiting till basically Princess King Charles III pops his clogs, bless his heart, and King William V comes to the throne. So
it's a bit morbid, that, James. Fucking hell.
That was,
you know what I mean? I just can't believe you just said that, James.
Yeah.
I don't think Airfix are planning that at all. They know exactly when they're going to release it.
I'm going to throw you in jail for that.
5-6 years ahead.
But James is onto something here.
Cool.
I'm being honest. I've seen obviously royal history. So you had Queen Victoria and then Edward VII. And he didn't last very long, did he? So go work that one out.
I just don't want to go there, mate. I really don't, because even if Charlie died this year, I don't think you're going to see that Sea King rebox next year as an SAR, because it's going to all it's a couple of years down the line. I don't think Airfix would. I think if Airfix did that, I think there'll be those who be saying they're just trying to make money out of the death of our monarchy. That's what they'll do. They can't fucking win, can they? So, I'm gonna cut this bit out of this video because they're gonna pipe me in the ass in 2 years. You know.
But there again, was I've purchased that kit because of a sad, obviously, recent tragedy.
Yeah.
But again,
it's
the Polish F-16 for those that can't see.
Yeah.
But again, I want to do it because it's a great kit, and also I'd like to do the scheme really nicely. I was planning to do it anyway. It's just sort of brought it forward, the events.
Spray mask set for all those tiger stripes.
Yeah, I think it's a big decal sheet. Fingers crossed.
That made me chuckle. That did, Gary. That really made me chuckle.
It's all right. Display name. We know what his name is. Display name, Gary.
Off to the tower.
Off to the tower.
Yes.
So you guys, if any of you have the Airfix Westland Wessex HC2, which scheme are you painting it in? I'm considering the Hong Kong variety. I'm doing scheme C on mine, which is
that would be different.
Today, I'm not sure if the video's gone out yet. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm doing the Hong Kong one.
I would go for scheme C.
Yeah, I'm doing that's mine. Just in that there, that's mine at the moment. Scheme C. Yeah, I'm loving it. Honestly, it's beautiful.
The old RAF one, isn't it?
I think you're right. Actually, yeah.
I mean, I picked up the box at the weekend. I was the same weekend at Farnborough, and I have to say the box felt heavy for a 72nd kit.
The box is full.
I will say that.
The box is full,
absolutely full of plastic.
Yeah, and I know it's in one bag, but like I said to Nigel last night, that those parts ain't moving in that box. That box was made for that kit.
I've got one part broken off the sprue, and I've got one part broken.
What part was that?
It's like a frame.
Oh, is it for the crane?
Sorry.
Is it for the winch at the
side? It might be. Yeah, it's like a little sort of tripod frame, and it's broken. And one of the rotor blades was broken off the sprue. So
mine was absolutely mint.
Yeah. Yours was broken. So
I blame Hannants. I think they're just being rough with the kits.
No, it's not Hannants.
I'm joking. But I still think Royal Mail and that, yeah, I did. But yeah, it should be packed properly, like, you know.
To stop putting all the fucking sprues in one bag.
Oh.
How much does it cost, for fuck's sake? How much does it cost? Come on.
Nigel has spoken.
Do you think Nigel wants to be in one bag?
We were waiting for him to come on.
I think you'll find in the next 3 years that most kits will either be wrapped in paper or only in one bag because of European legislation on overpackaging.
But we left the EU for this reason, so we can have our multiple bags.
But then it will come from another country. They'll be in line with that. You know, Airfix won't be able to sell that kit to Europe if it's got all that excess packaging.
Yeah,
so
you have to operate in all markets, or you can't
have to operate in all markets.
In any.
If that was the case, I think there's a lot of scope with that. You know, I can't get a Henry Hoover that's less than 1300 watts when the old 1800 watts with the turbo button on it was absolutely fantastic. You see the price of them now on eBay because they've reduced the wattage on these bloody Hoovers. The original Henrys with that booster on it, they're hundreds of pounds now.
Are they?
Look at this.
Yeah.
Well, it's like getting Gunsy paint over here. We can't get Gunsy paint to save our lives just because of the labeling issue. With one,
Canada have banned the Mr. Hobby aerosols, haven't they?
Yeah.
Who have?
Canada.
Have banned what? Sorry.
They've banned Mr. Hobby aerosols.
Even the aqueous, the alcohol-based aqueous, they won't do it. It's just like, oh, come on.
I think they banned the Tamiya stuff as well.
They've banned the Tamiya stuff before, but I think it's only the aerosols they've banned. Like
the spray cans, right? Yeah.
This one here, Mr. Surface Clear Black aerosol. They found that. So if you live in Canada, fill your boots.
Yeah, I gather that not only have they banned them, but they are apparently introducing some sort of legislation that means that retailers have got to send them all back to the manufacturer, apparently, for various reasons. And I suspect it's just because the politicians in Canada are probably aerosols. I may have mispronounced that word.
I just find it.
Pronounce that word. I think you meant assholes. Yes.
Do you know what?
Are issuing hunting licenses for people who have Mr. Service aerosols.
Oh. The irony of all of this, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that they say that all this stuff is dangerous chemicals, but they allow the shite in their food group to get through. It's the irony of it all that gets me. And honestly, when you pick up a tube, when you pick up your Tamiya extra thin, there's a warning on there that there is a worry that there's a chemical that could damage you, and that's because of California. You know, it says clearly about California on the label.
I think the famous one is the Johnson's talcum powder.
Yeah.
Because that has something to cancer-causing chemicals in it.
When I was working for a certain company, and I was responsible for these grinding machines that used aqueous coolant, I was told I had to find a different supplier for the coolants because the coolant I was using was harmful to the unborn child. And there were some women that ran these machines, and they were all over sort of 50. I said to the health and safety guy, I said, with a tongue in cheek, would you want to make any of them fucking pregnant? Oh, dear. Oh, dear. I shouldn't have said that.
Nigel, was your joke so funny HR wanted to hear it?
The HR wanted to have a chat with me about it. Yeah.
Ben, your joke in private chat about James needs to go to HR as well. I just read it in the private chat when you read.
Yeah, that made me. I'm not going to say what it is, but that made me chuckle.
Yeah.
Oh,
we live in a world. We live in a world
Ben,
where we have to put do not drink on bleach bottles.
It's shocking.
We live in a world we do not drink on bleach bottles.
Don't drink the battery acid.
Yeah. It's like when my uncle had this Subaru, he jumps in, turns on the key, and before he can drive off, it goes bing, 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 and this notification comes up on his sat nav and says, "Do not use this," or something about whilst you're driving, and he has to press yes, and then it comes up with a warning saying, "You understand that not everything is accurate on a sat nav, like speed limits and stuff." Yes. And then he had to agree to their terms and conditions of using the sat nav. So he had to press that button 3 times before he could even drive off. Yeah. Because it would go bing, bing, bing. Like they're worried that if they fart, they'll shit themselves. And that is the problem.
Bing, bing, bing.
Yeah,
blowing a gasket.
Bing, bing, bing.
Yes, someone should really please explain to me how I use the lavatory in Starbucks, because you walk in and the bloody great big sign says, "Please only put toilet tissue down the toilet."
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do?
Shit on the floor, wipe your ass, toilet, paper down.
Well, it's like the time I was in the toilet in the train station, and the button to flush was right ahead of me. And as I pressed it, there was a sign above saying, "Do not press the button." And I realized that sign was for the button. If there's it basically press the button and the train will stop, innit? That button there.
Oh, right.
But the button to flush the toilet was right below the button to stop the train. So if you're there having a piss and it's a corner and you pull forward, you're going to stop the train and get a fine of 200 quid. You know what I mean? Or I was having a piss.
It's like that IT Crowd episode where he's using the disabled loo, and he thinks he's going to flush the toilet, and he pulls the ringer, but it's the alarm.
What I was trying to get at is that if I want to smoke, I have the right to smoke, because I have the right to eat meat. I have the right to spray whatever paint I want. And, when you get to a phase where the government is dictating what you can and can't eat, then I think we're fucked anyway. We should be able to live our lives, be free. And I really do believe that it's got worse since they brought in smoking ban in the pubs. You see more of your, when you can't.
I personally think it's got worse since COVID, because the governments have seen that they can actually control, and there is a certain percentage of the population that love it. They love being told.
Not being funny, I don't think it was COVID per se, because everyone saw what the Soviet Union did for 50 plus years. I think like I remember a famous saying. I can't remember who said it, but we talked about in politics. We always said at uni, you have the right to be stupid. You have the right to do what you want. But as soon as the government tells you, I don't know, like say the food standard, for example, I think we were talking about. The food standard's bad. It probably could be better. But the fact that the government's now told you it needs to be better, you'll straight away already go, well, why is the government telling me to do this? I don't want to do that. I'm just going to eat this crap food, even though it's rubbish. So there's like this psychosemantic thing of where it could still be good, but as soon as the government tells you it's bad, and that can just happen.
The most concerning words, the most concerning words that anybody can hear are the words that you will just hear me say now. I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Yes,
Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, absolutely. He had a lot of sensible things to say, and that was one of the most sensible. Brilliant. Says all you need. Don't assume that the public are stupid idiots, because in general they're cleverer than they are stupid, and they can recognize when they're being sold a pup. And when you're being lied to by a politician, you can always tell because generally their lips move.
Yes.
I was just going to say.
Anyway.
Unless, of course, you're Rachel Reeves, where you don't run for lips very much, you keep your teeth together and you just talk like that.
Yes, indeed.
I still, as I said, you know, when it comes, I know that you couldn't get Tammy a panel line accent in this country. I spoke to Hobbyco, and they said there's a chemical in it that's banned. And so what did I do? I bought it from Poland through eBay.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And there's a lot of products I buy online, you know, and I have to, because they, you know, for some reason they won't allow it in this country. You know, and there's like the Miko argument, you know, back in the day with the enamel paints. So we banned Miko. The European Union have said that they've tried it on rats and they grew tits. So we're going to ban it in case. But these scale modelers, they've been using enamel paints for years. They're in their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And they die because it's their time to die, not because of how much enamel paint they've skipped.
Well, to be fair, they have grown possibly tits, but that's not, in fairness, due to the Miko in most cases.
No. I've got tits. I've got boobs, but it's probably due to beer.
Yeah. Mine too, Nigel.
It's beer tits, due to beer.
And bacon.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, but as I said, you know, we are, you know, we are dictated to by the rules of the land legislation. But as I said, you know, if there's a warning, and there's some things that you need dangerous chemicals for, just to live your life. You know, if you go drinking petrol, you're going to die.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean we don't use it. So if you can't get aqueous paint, do you know what I mean? It just...
You can get aqueous paint. You can still get aqueous paint. And
in America, you can't.
Why
you
not?
ask Jim, you can't get aqueous paint, can you?
You can't get anything, Gunsy, at this point in time because they have to change their labeling.
It's not
to conform to the state of California. Now, Tamiya has done it because their one warning on our Tamiya panel line is, and I will quote here, grab the wrong bottle. Warning, this product contains chemicals which are known to in the state of California specifically to cause cancer, birth defects, and or reproductive harm. So now Gunsy has to go through and relabel everything. And it's cheaper for them to relabel everything that's coming here and the rest of the world. That's why I'm sure you guys over there will get something labeled will cause, you know, from the state of California.
I think on the time,
it's going to cover everybody. And it's a gigantic pain.
It does actually say here, Jim, on this one.
Mr. Hobby Products, this jar of Blackness Surfacer, it's got like a 3-4 layer label on it with all the different hazards and everything. And then off, there's another label underneath.
Yeah, that's what they've done here. You got the original Tamiya label.
Yeah.
Then on the side there, you see that they've added another label. Yeah. But you know what? I remember years ago, there was an influx of foreign Coca-Cola in this country, and I think it was Poland. It was all written in Polish language, and what they did, they just put a little sticker on with the ingredients because they had to be in English. And they, I think there was like about there was 500,000 cans of Coca-Cola that have been shipped to this country by mistake from Coca-Cola, and should have gone to Poland. And all they did was they sold it off cheap, and they just put a little white label on it with the ingredients, and that was it.
I bought that from the corner shop the other day.
You have in the corner shop, did it?
Yeah, it was Polish Coke. I mean, for example, I get Turkish Coke. It's Polish. I mean, I can remember when I was living in Worthing and where I used to work at the model shop, there was a corner shop down the road. And no joke, about probably was a month after the start of Ukraine, walked into the shop, picked up a can of Coke. Where was the Coke from? Ukrainian. Said, how the hell did you get hold of this? He went, well, they're not selling it there anymore, so they were flogging it cheap.
Yeah.
And it literally just bought Ukrainian Coke, and he had it for about 6 months. And like you say, all they've done is they just slapped the label on, gone, here's the ingredients.
Yeah.
It's like talking about Coke, and Jim will back me up on this, and John. In this country, Coke has still got phenolphthalein and aspartame in it, or aspartame, whatever you want to call it. In America, those two chemicals are banned.
Oh, yeah.
They're known to cause cancer. The Coke still tastes the same, we've still got that shit in the Coke we drink here.
Isn't the aspartame in your teeth or something? Your toothpaste? Or am I getting that? No, that's fluoride.
That's fluoride.
I can't remember.
Fluoride, wasn't it, or something? But hey, right, last 15 minutes, well, last 10 minutes, all those in the chat, if you've got a question for us you want us to answer, put it in the chat and we'll try and get through as many as we can. I have a guest coming on either next week or the week after. We've got Dave from 3D Gizmo coming in. He has, if everybody knows Dave, obviously, he goes to every single model show you can think of. 3D printer extraordinaire. He's done the Matilda in 3D for the Bovington Tank Museum. There's a lot of his work out there. He does dioramas, everything. He's got a new subscription plan coming out in October, which I'm really excited about. I've got the box here. I'm not going to open it. I'm going to wait. I'm going to do a video on it. I'm going to paint the figure up. But and it's a figure every month. Dirt cheap. It's under 20 quid, and that includes your postage. You get a model, a figure every month for you to paint. It comes with bits and pieces, so that you know. And he's going to come on in a couple of weeks to discuss your questions about 3D modeling. He's been on before, and I think that was one of those chats that we were talking to him for out. You know, it went so quick.
Yeah,
he was very, very good. And
he's
you got
more 148 scale kits though. But hey ho.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you look at if you're a scale modeler that doesn't like the build but loves the painting, and there's a lot of you out there, I know there are.
I'm not one of them.
Yeah, he's done a load of 3D printed resin, not PLA, 3D printed resin, 1/72 scale and 148 vehicles. That all you have to do is like put 2 or 3 bits together with a bit of super glue. And then paint and weather away. I think the Shermans look absolutely fantastic. So he'll be on in a couple of weeks. It might be next week or the week after, because I want to do it when he starts his subscription, so we're able to kickstart him and help him out. So yeah, it's he'll be on in a couple of weeks. So if you've got any questions and you want them answered, if you fancy emailing me or messaging me on Instagram or Facebook under Moz Models, I will ask them those questions. But any of you guys got any queries or anything you want to ask about 3D printing, how he designs and everything? He's got a scanner now that if you want your own figure made of yourself, you can go to his house and get scanned, and he will do it as a way that you could be a pilot or something. He just scans your face and your body, and then he's able to create you into some sort of 148
a limited edition Nigel.
Limited edition.
Well, if we did one of Nigel, we'd have to put gloss coat on the top to get it right.
Yeah. Oh.
Love you, Nigel.
I resemble that remark.
I was thinking more like if they did a 3D scan of me, it would cost about 4 times more than it would have Zinzan because of the extra volume of resin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that too.
You young slip of a lad there, I'm sure that's not the case.
Yes, the lad. Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I thought it was quite interesting, even though the price of 3D printers is going down, the bloody resin isn't. You know, it's 20 quid a bottle now for 1 litre, isn't it? But good stuff. Not cheapo, but you know.
But then the resin's actually got a lot better though, hasn't it? In terms of well, not so much the failure rate, but in terms of the quality the resin can print out to, how it is, consistency.
Yeah,
it just seems better. I mean, it's getting to the point where even I'm starting to think I really should learn it, and even if I don't learn it, actually it's quite good at a hobby level to just sort of have a printer and just have it able to print bits that I need to that someone else has designed, maybe. Because it's not like the old days where you used to assemble your printer from Amazon where it turned up in a flat pack box. They're obviously now, a lot of them are pre-built, turned up, and you can literally plug and play to some extent.
We're still at the front end of this with 3D printing. I think there's still an awful lot of native skills, if you like, required. And it will be maybe another 3 to 5 years before we get to a point where it's almost a mass market product, in the sense that there'll be almost universal languages that you can use to produce things in the same way as you have, for example, Windows and Apple, for example. Some piece of software will become preeminent that everybody can simply load as an app, and off you go. And it will get easier. These things always do. They start off really expensive, and only people with lots of money can do it. And then you get the situation that you have now with LCD televisions. You can buy an LCD television for 14 shillings and sixpence now, whereas they were 25,000 quid when they first came into the country. So it will get there, and I think it's very promising for modelers, particularly people who like to model the less well-known things. It means that they can now will be able to get hold of kits that have been built by Mr. 3D Wizard, in his backyard and sold for 30, 40 quid or whatever. And the sky's the bloody limit. It could be a real fillip for modelling. I think it really could be.
It's that saying literally now of the old brands of, if you can think it, you can build it now with 3D printing.
That for me is like what Zinzad just said. That for me is where it's kind of, I know you're all going to disagree with me, but it's kind of taken away the skill. Anybody, any one of us 7 could go and buy an Airfix 148 Spitfire and all the aftermarket and paint it correctly, and we will all end up with the same product. That's kind of, whereas years ago you used to get people, you'd pop out Waldron instrument decals and put them in the plastic instrument panel and add gloss. Jim, and that was skill. Now it's just like.
So what was the old argument? It was rivet counters, and it was those labels on the rivet counters. And are you an assembler or are you a builder? And now we're getting to that point. We're getting further away from that. And now are you a painter or are you an assembler? Craft building is going to be gone. We're going to have the guys that like to build, and then the guys that just want to hit the print button, get that thing in 3 or 4 pieces so they can get it together, so they can spend 3 months painting it and do 27 to 33 layers on it and do all that. Okay. There is no right or wrong, but in this instant gratification world that we live in, I see that's probably the path that it's going to go down. Quicker, easier. If I don't have to build it, fine. I just would rather paint it and express myself and make it more interesting, and all these catchphrases of tone and texture, and it's turning into a painting hobby as opposed to a scale modeling hobby.
Correct.
The other thing that people have said is that if they could find chemical that could bond 3D resin together like cement does with plastic, that's a holy grail. If they could find a chemical that will do that, that's CA glue.
Yeah, paint it on. It works really well.
Yeah, what I mean is that if there's a bond that actually weld the super glue is very fragile. That's the problem. CA glue is fragile.
I'm going to correct you there. VMS, the VMS black thin super glue actually has a kind of welding action. It does dissolve stick.
It does dissolve 3D resin, does it?
And it does. It kind of, and then when it dries, it's flexible. It doesn't just break.
Yeah.
The downside with it is, and I'm not trying to do a sales pitch here, The downside with it is it doesn't dry very fast.
Because of the rubber in it.
To it is it doesn't dry very fast.
You got to leave it for a while.
Yeah.
No, this stuff I've got is it doesn't dry fast, and that.
Is that the
even with a kicker? I
don't use an accelerator with it at all.
You don't use an accelerator to get it to go quicker?
No, just
the VMS stuff. All the VMS stuff, you use a kicker, it makes it faster, but it doesn't. It's not like cheap super glues.
But here's the thing with that VMS black, it's CA, it's super glue with the black rubber agent in it. So you can see. I want to say initially it was designed to be able to put down so you can see if you're filling a crack, you can get rid of all the black. The black line that you're left with is your seam that you filled with it.
I've just done exactly that in a video that no one's seen yet.
Right.
Basically, put it in the gap, let it go in, and then cotton bud mop it up. And
you'll see a night shift. He'll do that. He'll put it in, then he cleans up with his their remover, and cleans it up, and then he lets it set, and then there you go. So what is VMS black designed to do? Is it designed to really weld parts together, or is it more of a putty type thing because they give you the blackening agent to where you can see what you're doing, and that rubber's never going to act like a glue anyway?
It's a flexible glue, I would say, but also you don't need to use the glue remover. I've discovered you can use leveling thinner, and that takes it off.
Yeah.
Leveling thinner removes the VMS glue.
Okay.
And if you want a fast-acting black filling glue, you mix the XT thin and the black thin together, and you get a really fast drying, strong black glue. Yeah, VMS is like up there.
I'll have to have a look at that. I'll have to get some of that in. Anyway, folks, it's 10 o'clock. 2 questions was, is the Airfix 3D printer any good? Airfix never brought out a 3D printer, mate, so I don't know.
Well avoided.
Talking about the Umbro one.
The Airfix one doesn't exist. There's a Umbro one, and it's fantastic if you want to use it to get the plane on to do your decals on. But that's about it. I wouldn't use it for 3D printing. Somebody had asked about the polytube cement that you get in an Airfix starter set. Have you noticed it being less stringy? I have heard it said, but to be fair with you, mate, I've not used it in many, many years, apart from one time when I was doing a 70-second wing and I wanted to really bind it together. I used some of it then, but I didn't notice if it was any thicker or thinner or anything. So anyway, folks, that's it. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Again, thank you for the panel for being on. We'll be back next Monday. And if you are a channel member, we will see you tomorrow night for the channel members only Workbench live stream. Anyway, folks, thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Have a good rest of your week. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you now.